What's up, everyone? It's the solution for kicks on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on both venues, social media platforms out there. And today I'm going to talk about a video that I mentioned and I failed to put it out months ago. If you go back, I think I'm about 97, 98 videos. I don't know. I'm close to 100 videos on my channel so far. And you notice that the quality has gotten better. It's not great, okay? It's not amazing quality like a lot of experienced YouTubers, but it's gotten better as I invested in myself. And I mention this because change is coming. So let's talk about when I first started recording videos for my channel. I was simply using a Samsung Note 3 and a Note 4. I actually have two cell phones. I no longer use this one, but I do. This is hooked up to my Wi-Fi, and I snap the videos of my sneakers for Instagram. But I do not record with this phone anymore, and it records in 1080, really good. You know, 1080 is pretty good, and it has 3 microphones on it, so the sound is pretty decent. And if you know anything about Samsung phones, the cameras are pretty powerful. So at about 14 megapixels on the rear-facing camera, and I think 5 on the front, 4 or 5 megapixels. Then I jumped up to the Note 4. I skipped the Note 5 and went down to the Note 4 because of internal storage and battery. I'm not an iPhone guy, but I'm going to talk about that as well. So after that, I realized I was really enjoying myself recording these videos. It was fun. It was something to do. Like I said, I have a lot of time on my hands sometimes. Not anymore from school. I decided to upgrade a little bit. So on Facebook, there's the marketplace, and I was looking for, you know, something a little better, a little point and shoot with a decent camera quality and sound. Now, this is a Samsung 14.2 megapixels, 18 times zoom, the WB150F. If you're military, Whiskey Bravo 150 Foxtrot. Okay. For all my former and current service members out there. And we got some YouTubers who are currently serving in the reserve and active patch. Shout out to the Vintage and Skip Goes Hard. I know those guys are in the Army and part-time and full-time, respectively. So I'm retired. Like I've always mentioned that. So I found this camera. You know, a young lady was selling this for $45. Yeah. And it's actually got a powerful lens on it. It's the Schneider Kreuznach. And if you know anything about cameras and lenses, the Germans make really, really good camera lenses. Look into it. They make great camera lenses. I've always known that. And Samsung is really good with the technology. They make great cameras, point and shoot cameras. They make good point and shoot cameras. Well, click and shoot, whatever you call them. But back in the day, this was awesome technology because the cameras on your cell phone sucked. And with advances in technology, your cell phone is actually more powerful than this. But let me talk about this for a second. The microphone on here is awesome. If you refer to my how to start your sneaker collection video, my intro video that I left there for a reason, I'm on this camera and it's pointed towards my computer monitor. And it sounds like I'm on my bi-directional microphone that I use for audio recordings, but it's this camera sounding like that. So the sound is incredible on here. It's just the video quality isn't great, but the picture quality is great. And I always say you still should keep a point and click or point and shoot, whatever you want to call it, at the ready in your backpack, because some of the stores don't want you coming in there with your amazing rigs that you have for your shoe tubing when you're vlogging. So I went from that, and I can't show you the second one, but I'm going to show you the container and an attachment that came with the second setup. Now, I was no rookie to the Sony CyberShot DSC QX10. Once again, Delta, Sierra Charlie, TAC, Quebec X-Ray 10. Okay, this device right here attaches to your cell phone and syncs up via Wi-Fi, and that's what I'm on right now. So the sound is great, but you need really good lighting for the picture quality to come through. And like I said, I'm not quite there yet with I got some stuff coming. So it'll fix that. So sometimes you'll see a somewhat grainy video from me, but you'll hear amazing sound. And what I've done is I'll just show the item that I'm vlogging about, and I'll connect my microphone to my PC and voice over that way. And I'm really good at that. That's my forte, is the audio side of it. Well, if you don't have a great microphone, you're not going to sound great. So that's the limitations of certain cameras and why you have some YouTubers with these amazing rigs. But this thing, it snaps to your cell phone, and if you got an iPhone Plus series or one of the Notes or the OnePlus, one of the bigger phablet type phones, it just opens up like that and snaps on the back. The battery life is pretty good. I will say, because of the quality that it's recording in, make sure you got at least a 32GB micro SD card on it. The zoom's pretty good, and the audio is what you just heard my AC turn on. I should have shut it off. You probably hear that, but it picks up a lot of good stuff. But it does awesome footage. And the great thing about it, I got my cell phone right here as the monitor, so I can kind of keep an eye of what's going on here. But it when it came out, it was $200. And a really good friend of mine, she had this, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I've actually been taking photos. She's taking photos of me with this device, and they look great. Even the video footage looks great that I saw her record. And I said, I gotta get one of those. Well, right now they're going for about $99, $89. You can find one, and this is an awesome alternative if you don't want to go full on with your DSLR cameras. So coming up, what I tend to use a little more, because what I paid for is the Nikon Coolpix B500. Now, something told me to get the box, but this is an awesome story on this camera. I basically kind of sort of stole this camera. Not physically walked out the store, but I got this from the Fort Sam Houston Post Exchange. It's like the department store, military base, and they didn't mark the right price on this camera, and I wanted it. And I learned something about purchasing this camera. It has limitations. It does, but it does a good job for what I wanted to do. And I need to sit down and really read the owner's manual thoroughly from front to back. But I will say the one thing I probably can't fix on this is the microphone. And it's a dual microphone on here. It's right here in the back, but it just does not have great sound in my opinion. But it has awesome video when the lighting is right, which is why I have some stuff coming to compensate for somewhat the grainy picture and it's the auto-focusing that happens as I move around the camera. But the other thing is that you can't hook a shotgun microphone to it. That's the huge microphones you see hanging over a lot of the YouTube's cameras. There's no hot shoe for that. So let me turn it on. I don't have the card in here, so it says out of memory, but that's the flash. So obviously there's no hot shoe over this. Now, funny part about it is that the other part of this story, speaking of cameras, is actually got the Post Exchange again in Aberdeen, Maryland. They labeled the price on another camera, but it's strictly for shooting. It's a picture camera, but it's a high-powered DSLR camera. And I was going to part ways with it, but due to a new venture I'm getting on, I'm holding on to that camera and actually put it away. 1 second. So I mentioned I have a professional camera, and I hardly use this. This was just me being frivolous one day at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds where I was last assigned, Base Exchange, and I stumbled across something. They didn't mark the price on here on this camera. This is actually a $500 camera, but it's only for pictures. It doesn't record video. And they had a Nikon. This is a Canon. This is a Canon. What's the model on this deal? EOS Rebel XS. So this is a pretty powerful picture camera. You know, still photo. That's all it is. It's got the hot shoe for you. I got a hot shoe inside of here. I got some filters, the cables to hook it up to the TV. Little maintenance kit, but this is not a video camera. And thinking back, I should have gotten the the Nikon version of this. Knowing what I know now about the YouTube game, I probably will get another camera more powerful than this, and this will basically be my backup. You got to have redundancy in media. One of the things is, if it's saved somewhere else, it needs to be saved elsewhere, away from that somewhere else, so your media is never compromised. I know you've heard stories about famous musicians' hard drives being sold because they didn't back up their music somewhere else. They just had it in one place. So there's thousands of missing music files. So what do? What's going on behind the camera as a YouTuber? So this is basically how it works. They get themselves a nice omnidirectional tripod, handheld tripod right here that can be manipulated like so. This was about $29 or so, and you'll see them walking around like this with the shotgun microphone on it. And one thing about it is that you have to figure out your aspect, basically holding it like this. How much are you in the field of view? Some YouTubers, to correct the wide angle shots and make sure they're not, the headspace is off, that's when you see somebody cropped. I've done this a couple of times, not being familiar with exactly where to look at in my camera. So you want to use the rule of thirds and look right down, you know, basically your arm until you get, and never change it. So if I'm looking down the center of my camera lens, my face is normally in there, and I'm good, and the camera will autocorrect with that. On this one. And I know as I move around, you want to be kind of smooth about it. You can get the rigs where the motion gets set and it rotates itself, and you want to get all that in, and you want to have nice smooth movements and stuff as you film your subjects, you know, whether shoes or clothes or people and things like that. And that's just how they do it. And these little tripods, miniature tripods, are pretty dope. You know, especially the feet are on ball placement. So you see that right there. I didn't have to fumble around the legs because the feet are just for itself, and that makes for good shooting. You set it on the tabletop. This one can wrap around a few things. Like if I want to connect it to a tree or a fence or something and talk to y'all and everything, I can manipulate these legs any way I almost want to. All right, and I do have, in some of my other videos, I have the little smaller foam flexible one. Remember, redundancy people. And you want to take all this stuff with you. Another limitation of the Nikon Coolpix B500 is that it takes batteries. It takes alkaline batteries. That's a big limitation, believe it or not. But it can be overcame. Either you get yourself a nice set of rechargeable batteries, or you keep some disposable batteries on you. As far as internal memory, nah. You can take about 5 photos, all right? Because these are going to be huge with a lot of quality. And you got your audio visual out where you can just simply hook it up to your TV or a monitor. You can actually run power to it and have it filming continuously. And it's got a lot of internal, it does some stuff that I'm not quite comfortable with doing yet, as far as fixing things and auto correction. So to be basically a novice camera for YouTubers, is pretty powerful in features. Things that you're going to need to do in your editing program can almost be done with limitations with the programs internally built into that.